Thank you for tuning in on the Woke Den podcast channel. Today, I'm joined with my co-host, Charles Saints, and we got a special guest, Bombshell Britt. You can find Bombshell Britt's Instagram at Bombshell Britt. Go ahead and follow her, subscribe to our channel, and also like. All right, we're here with Bombshell Britt, Brittany. So hi, Brittany. Just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
So right now I'm a dog trainer, dog groomer, and have a supplement business.
Okay.
I grew up in Southern California, and now I'm in Texas.
What's your hobbies? Like, what do you like to do on your spare time?
We do bodybuilding and literally dogs, all the time dogs.
We also know that you do some tactical shooting.
Oh, yep, and do some tactical shooting and things to make sure you survive.
Yeah. So, you growing up in Southern California, just tell us a little bit about that and some of the experience you went through in Southern California.
Yeah, so up until about I was 10 years old, I had the push little life, dance, figure skated, did everything. 10 years old, my parents got divorced, and that's when, I guess, things went south, literally. Got involved with gangs, and literally it became a lifestyle, and it snowballed into more things, and you don't realize what you're doing while you're doing it.
Yeah. So, like as far as like you like being affiliated with the gangs down in Southern California, was that hard to leave that type of lifestyle and change everything? Like, how did you start to get away from that lifestyle?
So what made me actually get away from where I was living, I guess I'll start there. I went through a double homicide. I was best friends from both sides. It was basically friends on friends. And my two best friends got murdered. It was one of the biggest homicides of Southern California at the time. And the people that did it were basically family. And we were living in their house because a week before that, my uncle had robbed and jumped me and my mom and my little sister, and we had no place to go. So after that had all happened, all shit broke loose, and then eventually a couple of years later, moved to a different state to be closer to other family, up in Washington, kind of got away from gangs because there's not really gangs up there per se. And down the line, ended up getting pregnant, getting married, and I was like, oh shit, like, you can't do this anymore.
Yes, but when you so you're married to your husband right now? You guys are still married?
This is my second marriage. The first one did not work out.
Okay. So, but you being pregnant, were you really young at that age or at that time?
Yeah, I was 21 and doing 21-year-old things.
Yeah. So was I. I had a son real young too.
I kind of started the whole drinking and everything super young. I was 15, and basically from 13 on is where it all started.
Yeah. Did you have a culture shock going from Southern California to Washington? Was it a huge difference?
Very weird. I kind of looked at people like, what are you?
And any time through this timeline, did you ever spend any time in jail or anything like that, or get in trouble with the law?
Yeah, first time I got in trouble with the law, first time I got caught, I was ditching school and was shooting shotguns.
Oh,
and
wow.
what I thought was an open field. Little did I know we were in back of a housing development, and helicopters came, and all of Riverside PD came.
Wow.
Thankfully, I knew how to get my hands clean before
Yeah.
I got tested for the residuals, so I didn't actually end up getting in trouble.
Yeah.
um, and then I got into some more trouble in Orange County. Actually went to Orange County Jail, but I was only in there for less than 48 hours and got out on my own recognizance, which they should have never let me do.
Wow.
And
How
then
long?
I had a felony warrant for that for a long time.
Oh, because you got out? Like when you got out, you had a
And I
felony
got
warrant?
out and did not go back.
Oh, okay. So you like bailed out.
They let me out on own recognizance, so I didn't have to bail, nothing. They basically slap on wrist, we'll see you back. And they did not see me back.
So what happened after that? Did you have to go back? Eventually you went back, right? And took care of everything?
Yeah. So eventually my intentions were, so I ended up moving, obviously didn't go back, moved up to Washington State years later. I actually was going to join the military, and that needed to get cleared up. So after I went through MEPS and everything, I went down there to get it cleared up, and they basically wiped my record.
Oh, nice.
So they kind of hooked me up a little bit.
Yeah. Did you actually join the military or?
No, at the time, my boyfriend was enlisted and deployed. And when I told him I had went to MEPS and was getting ready to sign in, he said, "Fuck no, you're a dumbass. Don't do it." So I didn't.
Yeah. Did you? How about your husband now? Was he a vet or join the military or anything like that?
uh, yeah. So my husband now, he was in the military. My grandfather was military. My dad was military. My cousin was military.
So you had a whole bunch of military people in your family.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. So going back to Washington, like, how was that? Like, as the culture, like, what was it like up there? Was it a lot of? I know it's a lot different than Southern California.
Yeah. So the people that I was around that thought they were a gangster learned very quickly that no, they weren't. um, the difference of what people who I was around, anyways, thought that hard times were was like living the cush life, like not struggling, like still coming from some sort of, I don't know, money, I guess you can say, not having to wonder like where your next meal comes, like are you gonna be eating Crisco that's flavored as butter? Like it was really weird, but I also got brought up into, well, if you can see someone that you can take advantage of and benefit from them, do it. And
Yeah, yeah.
so that, but one of the people actually that I did meet when I first moved up here, they're like night and day. He's just like me. Like he's a tattoo artist now. We're still super close friends. He's cleaned his life up. Like, so it's nice seeing like other people that can do it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, he's the one that did all your tattoos on your neck and stuff?
So the one that actually has done the majority of my tattoos, he's actually from Southern California, but he is he
Let's go
isn't
ahead
that like we were back in the day.
and let's take a break one second. And so going back to like with your tattoo artist, do you want to give him a shout out who your tattoo artist is?
Yeah, so the guy that did my neck and 90% of my tattoos, his name's Wilbur. His Instagram's the other class. And then the other guy that I've been friends with since I literally first moved up to Washington, also tattoo artist. He did my face. His name is Nick, and he's Naughty Locks on Instagram.
Okay, nice. So let's go back into like talking about a little bit about the Southern culture down in LA. I know there's a lot of gangs out there. So from I used to be a gang prevention specialist, so I studied a lot of gangs in Northern California and Southern California. And with my knowledge, I just know that there was a tremendous amount of gangs out there, especially from like Bakersfield going all the way down to LA, San Diego area. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got pulled into the gang or how the gangs pull people in? from your side of it?
Yeah, it's, basically middle school. However, middle school works. You got, preppy people, gangbangers. You got the crowds and stuff. Um, kind of gotten was super popular. The cheerleader, all of that. Lived about 3, 4 blocks from Casablanca, and had friends there. Everyone went to school. Ended up dating someone, and then it just basically snowballed. Then it was, you were affiliated because of the boyfriend, and then I got involved more, and then I got in fights, and it just became a lifestyle. Like, you don't realize what you're doing, or that you're even like in the wrong. Like, you think it's like you have the holy effect. So like when you walk around and you're in a neighborhood and everyone knows you and you're untouchable, right? Or you think you're untouchable. It's like almost like, this is gonna be horrible to say, like a God effect. You just walk around, do, say whatever you want with no repercussions. And then it turns into, cops are bad. Fuck the police. They don't know what they're doing. They don't like you because you're brown. They don't like you because you're white. They don't like you. This is my hood. This and that. And then there's that. That's when all the divide starts. And then you're just like in this bubble of, you're perfect. You're not doing any wrong, until something like hits you like a double homicide, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, my friends did this to a friend?
Yeah.
Like, and then it starts clicking, like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah. That's insane. How, like with a lot of the gang stuff that goes on out there, I mean, it's divided by different streets, right? Like,
Yeah.
so,
Even Casablanca itself is, you got one side of the street. I'm not even going to name them because it's going
yeah.
to get everyone riled.
Yeah.
But you have basically, they're just divided by 2 streets, but it's literally like a block, a 20 block radius, and each side
Oh,
hates each other. And it goes back to like parents being rivals.
yeah.
And now you're fighting and you don't even know why you're fighting. You just don't like each other.
Wow. Yeah. Did you were you like, did you have a lot of attitude when you were growing up towards adults and stuff? Were you that kid?
Oh, I was that kid.
Principal's office.
It was bad. And like, a part of my other, so I'm white and Hispanic. My mom's side is white from Texas, but like old Texas. We're like skinheads, Texas. And my dad's side is LA. Even though my
Yeah.
grandpa was even though my grandpa was in the military. But like, you just, then you're mixed, and you're like, okay, but am I white? Am I Mexican? You white? Are you Mexican? And then I had a Hispanic last name, and it just, you just kind of figure out where you fit.
Yeah. Would you guys ever move back to LA?
Um, I would move to Southern California over Washington. If I moved back to California, there's like a 75% chance that I would go back to my old ways.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah,
It's
you don't
like
want to do that.
it's almost like a drug addiction.
Hmm.
Like, even like, you could walk down the, like, I could walk down the street. This is gonna be horrible to say too, and you just see someone, you're like, man, fuck that person. I could jump that person and take all their shit. I mean, I would not do that today, but then you have that thought, and it's like a drug thought. Like that person that sees like heroin, that hasn't done it in years, and they're like, but like, I could just do it real quick and get away with it. So it's like that messed
What?
up mentality. I wouldn't even wear the color red for a long time. Like, I own one red shirt still.
Wow.
And like, it's a color. Like, it has nothing to
Yeah.
do with me anymore.
Yeah. It's just a mentality.
It's like
Right.
being brainwashed.
Yeah. It's a lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
So that's the hard reality is a lot of kids are getting sucked up into this lifestyle, at young ages down there in Northern California, all across the United States, even the world.
Yeah.
Did you have any type of addictions like to drugs or alcohol or anything like that growing up to help you fight those demons?
Yeah, so during that period of my friends being murdered, I'll give you a little backstory on that. So my grandma got super sick. My grandma passed away. She lived with us. Me and my mom were her caretaker. 3 months after that is when my uncle ended up robbing us, beating the shit out of me. I had internal bleeding. And he was not that guy. Like, he was a very loving guy. He was on drugs. And it sounds weird to say, like, that he was loving, but you could literally see the demons in his eyes. So after all that happened, then 3 months after were the murders. So it was like boom, 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 boom. And so then when my grandma passed away, I was drinking 24/7. I became a drug dealer because now I needed to figure out how to supplement income to help my mom. And then I was never a druggie, I guess. Like, I did coke a few times here, there, whatever, but it was always alcohol for me. Like, downing a bottle of Jose Cuervo was nothing.
Yeah, damn, that's deep. So you had to sell drugs to help your mom provide for the family. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that now? Like looking back at it.
Like, honestly, I don't regret it because it made me who I am today. Obviously, it was bad, but had I not went through everything I did, I wouldn't push myself to do the stuff I do now. I wouldn't, know what to watch for in my own daughter.
Yeah.
And like, people always say, like, you can pick and choose. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you have to choose the bad way. Like, as bad as that sounds, like, there always is another way, but sometimes in your brain there's not. Like, sometimes you have to do what you have to do to survive. Like, I've been homeless. Me and my mom been homeless. Lived in my Jeep forever. Lived in a motel for 6 months, a Motel 6. Like,
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty deep. I can relate because my dad was homeless. He died like a year ago in a homeless encampment from overdose. He was on methamphetamine and heroin. So they found him face down, paramedics, and I got to say my goodbye to him. But yeah, he was homeless. Yeah, it's been about a year now, and it was hard because us growing up, uh, we also there's the times where we were running from my dad because he was a really abusive father growing up, and he was involved in like you know just doing drugs and stupid
yeah.
shit out there on the streets. But I mean, we're staying in Motel Sixes. I remember ordering Domino's a lot
Yep,
because
Domino's.
it was probably the cheapest thing back then. Maybe it wasn't, but I remember my mom just like trying to figure out ways to survive. But yeah, I mean, it's the drug epidemic right now. It's actually a pandemic because it's huge, on what's
Yeah.
happening. I didn't, me being like the jobs I've held of former bounty hunting or even the gang prevention or probation department, whatever I did. Like I didn't realize until I got into the bounty hunting gig, like how much drugs is like it's huge, Even like some of the cases we had in LA too. We had cases out there too.
Yeah.
So it's huge, like how many people are being charged with these drug charges and they're just let back on the street without getting any type of real help.
Oh, I had friends that had thousands of pills of ecstasy, never locked up, little on their way. I had friends die hitting drunk and on drugs, hitting trees. Friend, they found him curled up in a ball, black and blue from being on drugs. I'd find my uncle's needles stuck into the stucco in the wall, and that was like what 2005 starting. Now it's like out of control.
Yeah, and they got fentanyl and a
Yeah.
lot of these drugs. They're just huge.
Yep.
Um, what would you tell your younger self today?
There's always another option. and to always keep your head up, because things get very dark really quick, really quick. And don't
If
always
she's
listen to your boyfriend.
so if that little girl stood right in front of you right now, those are the exact things you would tell her.
Yeah. And
What would you do to make her feel comfortable?
it's not the end, and change is
Yeah,
possible.
yeah. But being a young mom, has that helped you? Like just knowing that uh, to raise your daughter and to make sure she doesn't go through that type of
Yeah.
trauma.
Oh, definitely. Especially like even like I have a younger sister, and she had to live through some of it and see some crazy things. And my daughter, I told she don't get away with anything. She she's like, "Oh, you always yell at me." I'm like, "Because I know where this goes. I know exactly where this is going to end up."
Is the dogs, the bodybuilding, and the tactical shooting that you do, is that all part of your therapy? Like it helps you out as a person, become a better person?
Yeah, so I've always been sort of like an animal person. Like my grandparents had Dobermans. I've always had, strays given to me, found the dogs on the side of the road, brought them home. I brought a squirrel home and made the squirrel my pet. And now I got into working dogs themselves as far as like recently, I guess like a few years ago, like as legit a thing, because of that fear I still have of something or someone will come after me. Like there's
Yeah,
always that weird what if, I guess.
yeah,
And so now I'm trying to get into more service dog stuff because I want to help veterans with PTSD, because not a, I can't say I know what they're going through, but I know the fucked up things that happen in your brain, the things
yeah,
you can think and the things you can feel type thing. And I'd like to help them with giving them like a companion or a dog to, feel comfort with.
yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, because even guys of like law enforcement, the former officers, I feel like they could use, um, service dogs too. I grew up around the police departments. My stepdad was a cop for 25 years, just retired, and he has a dog, a shepherd, a Czech shepherd, pretty badass.
Yeah.
His name is Max. I've done a lot of his bite work for him, and he's a really good dog. So I feel like you know, even sometimes we feel, uh, like how you said, you feel like people are going to come after you. That's always in the back of your head. I arrested 52 people in 1 year, and it was super hard to do that in California, and I felt the same way. I'm going to
Oh,
lie, like I
sure.
still feel the same way. Like if I go somewhere, I usually have my dog and my dog's with me. I don't leave home without protecting myself. But and I'm definitely checking up. What is it? Checking the I's or dotting the I's.
Yeah.
I'm doing all my homework. Like especially the jobs I've had. Like being about here, we're always cautious about everything. But I mean, when you're arresting people, they just hate you. They really do. You're going into their homes, they
Look,
hate you.
I can't even like imagine being on that side too, because I know the hate I had for cops
Yeah,
for so long. And mind you, one of the top SWAT canine like DEA officers of where I lived, I'd known since before I was born, right? Family friend. Like he even was part of the raid of my house and was like, "Oh, Brittany, what's happening here?"
yeah,
Um, and I loved him. And then it took moving to Washington. I got pulled over for running a red light from taking my dad from the VA hospital at like 2 in the morning, and just him being nice. That was it. And it was like we left, and I told my dad, I said, "Wow, the cops here aren't assholes." And he's like, "Brittany, no."
yeah,
And then it was like a snowball effect. And then it was like
Yeah.
a cop would pull me over, and I'm like, hands on the steering wheel, not moving, hands like I know the drill. Like, Brittany's not moving. Like, I'm staying. And now I'm obviously on the other side of the spectrum. I have friends in law enforcement, like very high up law enforcement, and if you don't, I mean, there's always a few bad seeds, but if
Yeah.
you don't fuck up and you're not a raging dick, they're just doing their job. It's a job. And
Yeah.
there's rules and you have to follow them. And if you don't follow them, you get in trouble. It is what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Going back to like how you were confused about, you know, being of color, Mexican and white. I felt like that growing up a little bit, of being like, I have a dad who's homeless and in trouble, in and out of jail and whatever else he's been to, and then I have a stepdad who's a police officer. So I mean, I was confused as shit growing up, you know.
Yeah, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah. Then I grew up in a really bad gang neighborhood too. So just going home every day to that, it was
Oh,
like
geez.
school was like high school was like I had fun. You know, like that was my home. Being
Yeah.
in high school was my home. You know, like it was like, okay, I'm not going to that neighborhood and getting chased today. You know, and then having you know, because at the time my stepdad was going through the police academy, and we're living in this neighborhood until he can actually get us out of there and being hired as a cop. So it was just like, hey, your dad's gonna be a cop. He's gonna be, you know, they would make fun of us, and I got into a lot of street fights growing
Yeah.
up, just a lot, just trying to stick up for that, to stick up for him, myself, my mom. It was just a lot of street fights in my
Oh,
neighborhood.
shit.
I was definitely swinging every week, almost, or
And
being
it's
chased
like,
down the
or a
street.
whole different like side of the spectrum too.
Yeah, yeah. It was just, yeah. I mean, some of those guys were my friends, but they're not really your friends. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Nope.
I mean, as soon as shit hit the fan, or if I had to fight somebody, you know, just to defend my family, like most of those guys ran, or just weren't
Yeah.
there. So it would suck,
You learn who
you
your
know.
friends are real quick.
Yeah. How'd you get into the tactical shooting? Because Charles is a huge fan. He does tactical shooting competitions.
So
Oh,
I
that's
yeah I do
awesome.
I shoot for USPSA. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I shot here and there, obviously, like not very proper, growing up like in the middle of gangland.
You try sideways, the
Still
whole
shot.
sideways.
Hey, I tried that. We tried that a few months ago, and no matter how hard you try, like you have to be on top of someone because you are not getting
Yeah.
shit. But it was when me and my husband first started dating. We went shooting, and I had a Ruger LC9, a little fucking pink gun,
Mhm.
piece of shit. Like you're better off just
Mhm.
chucking it at someone. And we got into it. He kind of like went over like fundamentals and everything with me again, and then it was like, oh, like this is actually fun. And I'm a very instant satisfaction person. So if you shoot and you hit something, that's instant like gratification. And I'm a very competitive person too. So I was like, oh, okay, like I gotta be the best. And so then it
Mhm.
just snowballed. And then it was when, COVID hit up there, I was stalked a lot by some human traffickers, and
Oh wow.
a bunch of stuff went down with that. And then it was like, okay, like if shit hits the fan, I can't be a liability.
Yeah.
Like I need to be able to body drag someone, pull someone. I need to be able to shoot and be accurate. And we got to figure this out. So then it just took off.
Yeah.
And now I got a new pistol.
That's
I was like, I thought about doing competitive stuff, and that is a lot harder than it looks. Because
Yeah, it is.
it's hard.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah. When I started, even now, like if I'm shooting competitions, like once you hear the beat, you forget everything. Like even
You're
no
just all
matter
over the
how much you
place.
train, like how like no matter how hard you train, like dry firing, all that stuff. Once you hear the beep of the timer, oh, you, you
We
start
just
to
did
freak
one.
out.
My husband was like, okay, we're going to do like drills and stuff. And so it was literally like simple, like rifle, like presented, walk, shoot. And I'm like, you forget how to walk.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm so focused on walking heel toe, I look like Frankenstein. And we got done, and I'm like, let me see the video. And I was like, oh my God, that's horrible. Like, why can I not walk?
I haven't went to a range or even touched my farm in a while. I lost my partner to suicide,
Oh, wow.
and after he died, I put that thing away, locked it up, and it's getting dusty.
Sorry to hear that.
But yeah, I haven't touched farm ever since that. I mean, I watch videos still. I won't. I don't think you'll ever forget how to shoot and how to
Right.
do any type of maneuvering that you need to do, and especially like like I used to love clearing rooms when I went to go search houses. I mean, it was super nerve wracking, but I mean, I practiced so much at it, like it just became like second nature. I just feel like, and it was always nerve wracking. So that adrenaline feeling was like, oh my God, like there's someone behind this door,
You're like,
maybe,
ooh, ooh.
maybe not.
Like,
Yeah, it
let's
was just
see.
the
We got a
weirdest
50-50
feeling.
chance.
Oh man, when you're clearing rooms, like, and you're after like a bail fugitive, someone that doesn't want to go to jail, their firearms technically involved with them, and because we carry guns, so it's like we're not like Dog the Bounty Hunter. I don't want to say his name, but we're not carrying paintball guns. We're actually
Right.
carrying real firearm. So when we're going through rooms, I mean, it's pretty nerve wracking.
Yeah.
It's yeah, you definitely have to practice because
Oh,
it's a huge liability.
I can't. Yeah, I feel for you guys too. During the whole thing, I almost got carjacked. I actually had to draw my weapon out. And I called my husband afterwards crying, and I was like, had I not known better, like this dude would have been shot.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
it's like that split second of, oh shit, yes or no.
Oh, can you tell us a little bit about your supplement company and how it started?
Oh, so I was working for another company as an affiliate. Probably I want to say a year and a half, with their SARMs and stuff. My husband basically said, "Hey, you make X amount of money on just commissions. Maybe you should look into like starting our own supplement company." Like, no, okay. I was like, that's never gonna happen, right? Like, that's so far fetched. And so I actually talked to the guy that I was working for, and he was a huge company, and he was like, "Yeah, Brittany, like, I'll just I have a manufacturer, everything's tested, purity rates, everything. We can literally just make your own brand." So I was like, wow, like this simple? Like it can't be this simple. Come to find out, like the supplement world is ran by basically 4 or 5 manufacturers. They're, so depending on what you want out of a supplement for purity rate is basically your brand. It's all the same, I don't know, warehouse. So I started with, okay, like I'm just going to get these 5, SARMs and start with them and see how it goes. These are the top ones that I have been getting residual income from. And then it just spiraled into me researching about SARMs, me researching about peptides, researching about health supplements. And then it literally just blew up. Ended up not blew up. Okay, it blew up for me. Not like extravagant amount of money, but I mean, if a couple, $1,000 a month, great. Better than nothing.
Yeah.
And then I started digging into like the health supplements, which I have 2 that are branded as the We the People supplements, but I've kind of put them all on the Prime Labs website now. It was just too much for me. And then that doing like the FDA accredited facility and all that testing was so spendy, so spendy. So I have technically self-formulated 8 products for that. I just don't have funds. So I'm sitting on 2 of them that I did. And eventually, hopefully it turns into something. If not, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. About the SARMs, like, how do you feel about SARMs? Like, personally, like, how does it work in your body?
So I actually got first introduced to SARMs from Boston Lloyd. I used him as a coach, and he had rad 140 or rad 150. I forget which one it was on my meal plan, on my supplements plan. And I was like, what is this shit? And he's like, Brittany, just take it. And I bought it off of eBay or Amazon at the time.
Mm.
Like, Boston, what is this? Like, I'm telling you, Brittany, just take it. So I started taking it, and I was like, oh my God, this is like liquid gold. This is the best shit ever. Like, I'm getting lean. Like, I'm keeping my muscle, everything. And then that's when I was like, oh, let me dig into it. But as far as like SARMs himself compared to like, say, steroids, a lot of like even steroids are faked or aren't pure or underdosed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, same with SARMs, but at least I know, like, our company wise, the testing's there. So you got less side effects if you're not doing crazy shit with it. And you can kind of supplement depending on like what chemical or, you know, drug mock-up you want as far as like black market steroid for SARM, which is like your gray area of legal.
Yeah. But as far as like your liver, kidneys, it does no harm to it, or is there studies that it's not doing harm to it?
There is some studies showing that there is harm, right? Because it's technically a research chemical. So like anything that you take or put into your body that's a chemical, there is that chance of side effects. Now, if you're doing preventative measures as such as taking like a liver supplement, a kidney supplement, I take liver, kidney, heart, brain, XYZ supplements because I just think you should, and aren't overdoing it and do proper cycle on, cycle off.
Yeah.
It's limited of side effects that way.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think like someone like myself who was always looking at SARMs at one point, because they sell them in the stores, you know, supplement stores here in California. So it was like doing my research on YouTube. It was like they started saying some scary shit, you know. So and like some of the videos, so I started backing off. Like I went to the store and I had one in my hand, and that just kept playing in my head. So I was just like, oh no, I'll put it back, you know.
There's a lot like of supplement stores or like smoothie shops, right, that sell SARMs. But then you look on the back of it and it's like, okay, you got rad on there, but then it's like rad with 4 different other things. And I'm like, so how pure is this? So then that's when the overdosing gets an effect. Because then people are like, I'm not seeing anything. So then they overdose, right? So then it's building up in their body and not knowing the exact dose they're taking. Like we've had people take one of our the MK677,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, literally take 1 or 2. Try low. Low is better than taking too much. And they're like, I don't know, like I'm so hungry, like I can feel the difference. Like this is crazy. I was taking like 6 of the other ones, and I'm like, do your research and make sure you're getting pure things. Like just don't stick random shit in your body.
Yeah. Do you believe in like intermittent fasting?
Yeah.
Yes and no.
I want to know.
Yes and no. So
Okay.
as far as like the intermittent fasting, to me, I think if you go to bed, say your last meal's at 8 o'clock, if you're doing like this fasting thing, right? Your last meal's at 8 o'clock. Don't eat till 8 the next morning. Technically, you're fasting, but you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Normal.
Yeah, I try not to eat past like 7.
A lot of people, they'll, you know, eat till midnight, wake up at 6 a.m. and start eating again. I'm like, you just eat 24/7? Unlike me, I can't keep treats in the house because I will eat them.
Yeah, and being a dog trainer, like I mean, I train dogs now too, so it's like I feel like we're always on the road, going from this place to that place.
Cold chicken and cold rice is amazing.
Yeah, sometimes, man. But I hit a lot of Starbucks places. Yeah. I had a lot of Starbucks.
Hey, Starbucks cold brew with sugar-free vanillas were really good.
Right.
And it's like no calories and all the
no calories. What is it? It's cold brew with sugar-free
A cold
vanilla.
brew with sugar-free vanilla, and you can add some stevia if you want to.
Oh wow. Because like yeah, start getting hungry and you're just like, dang. I'm like for me, I have to travel across the Bay Area sometimes, picking up dogs or dropping dogs off, and or working dogs for as a decoy. So it's like after I'm done decoying, I get hungry, and sometimes now my wife's starting to pack my stuff for me. She's like, okay,
Yeah, and
because as I'm getting older, my metabolism, huh?
we're gonna start doing transport from Texas, Georgia, Cali, and stuff. And I'm like, we're about to get a microwave for the van.
Yeah. How are you guys gonna do it with your workouts?
That's a good question.
Stop at gyms?
I guess it will be an off day.
Yeah. So have you guys got, because Texas is an open carry state, right? Or is it, or
Yeah.
you're legally allowed, is it open carry or can you conceal carry?
It's open carry, but I believe they do have the right to carry. So
Okay.
or not. And then they're working
Okay.
on passing the suppressor law, where if a suppressor is made in the state of Texas, anyone can have it in Texas.
Wow.
Oh,
So-
Texas.
That's crazy. So is there,
I got
so
excited
is,
for a bit.
You guys
yeah. Has it, so like, actually I just came from Texas when I went to go visit Dennis. Yeah.
Yeah,
I actually got stopped. I got followed by the police. I had this huge RV I'm rolling in. The police followed me and I pull off and I pull up at a restaurant and this guy, man, this officer just kept wanting to, like, he's kept coming at me. Like, when I talked to him, he was just like, is there a problem here? Blah, blah, blah. Is there a problem here? And I was like, no, there's no problem, but why are you coming up to me, So it became like, I'd use my First Amendment rights or my, like freedom of speech, like
Right.
Second Amendment. Like I would just start throwing, I don't know, I just started throwing stuff out there, man. Like I'm just trying to get, I don't want to get in trouble, get a ticket, or have anything to do in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
So I'm trying, I'm just trying to talk my way out of this shit. Like, the whole reason he stopped me was because I smirked at him and then I stopped smirking. That's the whole reason he followed me. Yeah, it wasn't in a vehicle. He just followed me off the rest stop.
He was bored.
So, yeah, he was bored. I was like, and I get it, man. Like, there's a lot of drugs that are going through that Interstate 10 or whatever it is, going towards like El Paso and those areas, going to the smaller towns.
Right.
So there's a lot of drugs going there, the border cities. So I definitely get it. And having California plates on a RV. Actually, it was a rented RV. It was a huge rental RV, and so it had Washington plates on it. And I rented one of the biggest.
Washington plate.
Yeah,
People
but
do not
he
like
knew. Well, they ran it. They ran the license plate, and it came back to the rental company in California. So I think it looked very suspicious.
What is that movie? RV or Meet the Millers or whatever it is?
Yeah, just me and my wife.
We're the Millers, yeah.
So how are you guys gonna do it when you travel with the dogs? Like concealed going across the states. You're not gonna be able to conceal, right? You have to get your Utah CCW.
Well, I'll just say there's a Second Amendment for a reason.
It doesn't count in California, though.
When we move down here, we bypass that whole state.
Yeah. California, you can't carry.
No.
No.
Now.
Do they still have that law where it's like if they find you with one bullet, it's like 7 years?
Oh, if it's loaded in your, I think if it's loaded on your, in your trunk or something, yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
It can't be loaded.
7 years per bullet that's loaded or something like that.
Yeah, like I don't want to say the county we live in, but the name of the county, but there's some counties that are now starting to give CCWs out.
Yeah,
and
I'm trying to get
a lot of people are applying for
Hey,
it to get your CCW.
about that not even have e-collars, so.
Yeah, that's another thing for the dogs, the e-collars. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think dog trainers need to stand up and speak about it. Because if they ban e-collars, I mean, we're going to see a lot of shelters overpacked with dogs. A lot. I mean,
I had a few people actually write me. I want to say like 2 days ago and sent me like pictures of all these Malinois. They're like, "Can you take one?" And I'm like, I mean, I can't say no. Like, that's how I kind of got 2 of my dogs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I hit you up with one too. Remember?
So
Yeah.
that dog that you hooked me up with,
Yeah.
I love her.
Really?
Love her. She
I was
is
wondering about it.
so intense. Like,
That's cool. That's
she
awesome.
gives everything at all times.
Yeah.
Times. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was. I think that came from like Steve from Bay Area Canine Association.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think that was came from like one of his breeds, and I was gonna get that dog, but then ended up getting like someone called me before for Menace, my dog Malal now, and my wife wasn't really having me getting another dog, so she's like,
My
no more
husband's not
dogs.
either.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? I told the guy, come meet me right now at the park, and I'll take the Malinois off your hands because he's like he couldn't handle the dog pretty much. He couldn't have the dog. He had so much going on for himself, like with his kids and family. And I already had been training that dog, so I was like, I'll just take him. So it ended up working out for me. And then I give him the way I went around it was like, oh, it's gonna be my daughter's dog, thinking that I'm gonna be able to keep the dog. And so my stepdaughter, my daughter, she ended up saying like, that's my dog. So I have nothing to do with the dog now. My job is to train the dog, and that's it. So
I
it's
know.
her
But
dog.
my husband's like, you have 3 Malinois, and you're supposed to
Yeah,
get another puppy. I'm gonna get a bull herder in 8 weeks. I'm like, but that's the bull herder's gonna be a large game dog. Like, that's gonna be a hog
yeah,
dog. Like, they all have purposes. And he's like,
yeah.
we literally can't do anything because you have all these fucking dogs.
Yeah, that my
And then
wife
I
feels the
have
same
board
way.
dogs and all this. And he's like,
Yeah.
then I'm like, oh, so we're gonna move to a farm and I'm gonna get horses.
So, but yeah, you definitely don't have to worry about anybody coming after you with your dogs.
Yeah. And
Those dogs are
they've
pretty.
been progressing really well. So
That's good. Are they on it when it comes to protection work?
yeah, so my pup that I have now, she's 6 months old. Obviously, she's still a puppy, but she's gonna be one crazy little dog. The one I got that you hooked me up with, the 2-year-old, we finally got past her thrashing because it was horrible, horrible. Like, I'm gonna have to send you videos. I was like at
Yeah.
wit's end on her with the tie back, like stretching her out, like please just stop for a second so I can let you redrip and be done with it.
Yeah.
But she figured it out. I've been working with Josh Kirby, which is
Okay.
amazing. I'm really sad that he's leaving. He's moving,
Yeah, I
and
heard a lot about him.
he's amazing. He actually reminds me of this guy that I was using up in Washington, Dustin, who literally the dog whisperer. Like, I could not have asked for a better person to help me and learn more things from. And then so when Josh leaves, I'm gonna be using a guy named Coy,
Hmm.
and he trains just the same, but they're so knowledgeable and they take their time and they really know fundamentals and not rushing a dog and progressing with the dog and building them, not breaking them down, you know.
Or just washing the dog out.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of my wash dog that I is biting. So I also have my male dog is about I guess 12 months old now, and he was washed for no prey drive, no grip, no nothing, which I mean, he did not have a grip when I got him at all, like at all. So we're working on that still, but still does bite and grip. We just got to get it stronger. But he is a good dog. Like, he's
That's
really
awesome.
good. So
Yeah, that's
I think at this point, like, obviously I have my one pup from a breeder. But I told my husband, I was like, ever since I've been little, it's always been like rescue dogs or dogs that's been dumped on me. And people,
yeah.
they're a bad dog, they're a piece of shit. No, you just don't understand them. Like the shirt says, work the dog around you.
It's actually a
Like,
shirt we made.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I recognize it. Once you
Yeah.
point it out.
Yeah. Taco Inc.
Yeah.
so I don't know. I think from here on out, I my like niche, I guess, would be like fucked up dogs and fixing them. I
Yeah,
guess giving them
that's
another
all.
chance. Whether like if they are washed as a PPD, like they're not broke. Like, find something that works for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I see a lot of people doing that now, like finding things that work for their dogs. Yeah, I've had a lot of people doubt. So when I became a decoy, I had a lot of people even doubt me as a decoy, or the dog world. There's so much drama. They talk shit. But they don't realize that when you're a big 6 foot something man coming, like how our backgrounds are, we don't play.
Yeah, you're not like this
So
tiny ass decoy.
yeah, and it's like that was made it a little bit harder for me as being a bigger decoy was having to have the dogs jump a little bit higher, how to catch them different, how to move. So it was now that I've been getting it down. I traveled everywhere just to learn how to be a better decoy. Like, I mean, I went to Houston. I've trained with a lot of really the good decoys in the industry. Did a Shih Tzu, went to their stuff. I mean, it was hard. It was really hard, and I was part of a club for a little bit. That's how I started out. Was part of a club, a PSA club.
Clubs are not for me. Mm-mm.
No, there's too much. It's very
Too much
political and
backstabbing.
straight up too much. Yeah, too much drama. Too much drama. Uh, uh, it's it was a little too much for me too. It's a lot of drama. So I enjoy catching personal dogs, like personal protection dogs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm like,
So
I
are
want like a great OB dog, but I want a dog that wants to literally fucking eat you. Like you're going to die.
yeah, that's what I've been looking for too. My
Like I
wife's like,
don't
no.
want like nothing against sport dogs. I don't want this nice little dog that is just like coddled. I want
Yeah.
a real like fucking. He's like gonna eat you. Like he does not like this is joy for him.
Have you thought about a Corso or any of those
What
type
was
of bigger
that?
dogs? Have you thought about a Corso?
My friend actually has a Corso, and I'm trying to get her to bring him out to like kind of test him with the decoy to see because I love this dog. His name's
Oh, cool.
and they have a little Frenchy named Wasabi.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
Kind of know how to
Right
react to
away,
that.
just cool. Like, no.
Right?
Why
She
did
told
she
me.
name him
What's
that?
funny is, so it's my good friend here,
We'll
and
have to edit that part out.
and it was funny is
Timestamp.
she's Hispanic.
Oh, she's Hispanic and she named her dog
Yeah,
that? Oh, wow.
it's so funny. We all like we're a lot alike. She's actually my husband's boss, but we're we're a lot alike, like background wise and stuff too. So it's super funny. And she told me the dog's name, and I'm like, wait, what?
It's just like that one, like,
I'm
okay,
like,
cool.
but your dog is not white.
Yeah. He doesn't have a little mustache, right?
Right? That's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna color him a little mustache on.
No, no,
I'm gonna teach him his new paw trick.
Don't dig yourself
no.
deeper,
Our comments are going to be getting hit with all kinds of stuff.
I'm gonna teach him
No,
shake, but sitting on his butt.
no, no.
See, people can't hate me because
No.
I mean, technically I'm half brown, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, moving on to the next question. Where do you see yourself in the next couple of years with your dog training business and your whole life of everything you've been through? Before we end this podcast, I want to know, like, everything you've been through, where do you see yourself, you and your husband, in the next couple of years?
So building up to that, this year I want to get into like fundamentals of decoying, learn mechanics of decoying. I mean, I've taken a bite from a friend's dog. Just I feel that you should know both sides. I don't train personal protection dogs as far as like work wise. It's all pets. I want to get into more of the working dog aspect, more of knowing both sides of the leash, I guess per se. Uh, I want to have an actual facility, like a big facility. I want to be able to have different decoys, different training seminars, like a CQB place, an all inclusive like place to have like an outlet where everyone can build each other up. People can learn from each other, not just break everyone down. Build real working dogs, not dogs you kick a crate, they run away. You know, be a place where everyone can just come and learn and have fun, I guess. And then have horses again and be, I don't know, Miss Dr. Doolittle.
Awesome. Yeah. You have any questions for her?
So no,
Or last
not really.
questions?
No, not really. But I hope when I get to some next time, like in the future, when I get to visit Texas, I want to train with you guys.
Yes.
Yes, because there's no place to train here. Like, I mean, there probably is, but it's like private.
Yeah.
Like here, it's like you can't.
Oh, it'd
Okay,
be his
so
dream. He'd be walking around with a gun.
have you heard of Polaris Canine?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to send you guys a link. So I'm gonna actually start going down to see them too and look up the ranch in Dilley. Before I moved here, I knew about this place called the ranch, and it's like 400 acres. They have CQB, all this stuff. It's more like Leo military type thing, but they
Okay.
do civilians. Well, I kind of made friends with them, and I'm like,
Oh, awesome.
super excited. That was like my main goal when I came here. I was like, I need to be these people's friends because I need to go down there and like experience this. But they do, I was just talking to them about like coming down there for the weekend and working dogs and be able to go to their range and stuff. So maybe we can like, I mean, I don't know if it's cool with them, but I'm sure it would be. Make like a thing where everyone goes there for the weekend and they even have like accommodations for their house and like the housing and literally be like a little team building thing.
That'd be cool.
You have like
That's
dog
awesome.
decoys. I mean, your dogs can see other decoys. They have a range. They have
Yeah.
a CQB place, and it would just be like, I mean, kind of what I want in Fort Worth, but like in Dilley.
I think I would fly this time. I don't think I'll be taking an RV.
Oh, geez.
I'm not taking no RV down there. I'll fly.
I'll take the dog bath out and I'll throw a mattress in and we'll come pick you up from there.
Yeah. Have you heard of before we end, but a sheepdog response down in Texas?
No.
Tim Kennedy's place. He's a UFC fighter, or he's a former UFC fighter, and he's a former Green Beret, I believe, military guy. Yeah, and he has a lot of he has like a firing range. He does like the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He has like he has the whole thing going on. I don't think he does dogs,
I need
but
to
everything
get the
else.
grappling stuff too, because that's a whole
Yeah.
nother ball game.
I did it for 10 years. I competed in no-gi jiu-jitsu for 10 years.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, my body got beat up. I ended up getting like bicep surgery. Yeah.
Okay.
My left bicep surgery.
Not
Yeah,
for the dog
I
bite,
competed.
just grappling.
Yeah, I competed hard. I mean, I was when I went in there, it was in my 20s, and I just really competed hard. Then I went on to coaching wrestling, and now I have nephews that are like state, they're like winning all the time down in Fresno.
Jeez.
They're really good wrestlers. Yeah.
That shit's hard
So
too, because I did like ring girl stuff for a while, and I would go and like do like the grappling on the ground, and just for fun to learn. It is
yeah,
hard. There's
yeah.
a
I
whole
think I got in the best shape of my life when I was doing jiu-jitsu.
yeah.
Especially, I felt like no gi jiu-jitsu was a lot better because the gi is super cool, it's super awesome. I love the gi. I love the gi guys, like and everyone and the girls, everyone who does gi. But for me, I felt like the no gi helped me out with my careers because every time I
That
got in a
makes sense.
situation, there was no gi, to grab on.
Yeah.
It was more like just hands on right away. So
Tell
it
you what,
helped out
that
a
gi
lot.
taught me how to choke someone out if they got a hoodie on.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. You definitely
So
would.
I only fighting people in the winter.
Yeah, for sure.
Someone wearing a jacket, yeah, they don't stand a chance.
So I'm definitely gonna need to check out your products. Do you have an Instagram for your products? Do you want to give your Instagrams out?
Yeah, so
And for your dog training too?
for all the supplements, it's prime.labs with the Z .research. And then the dog training Instagram is just bombshell and then canine with a K and a 9.
Okay. And then if anybody wants to message you for dog training, they can get a hold of you there, right?
Yeah,
On your Instagram?
if anyone sees this podcast and wants training or boarding, supplements, research chems, literally just message me, even tell me that you saw the podcast, and I'll even hook them up with the deal.
Awesome. Yes. And then our podcast will be with you. It's going to be dropping sometime next week.
Okay.
And we'll have it out and have everyone check it out from there. Thank you for joining us and appreciate everybody.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
have a good night. Thanks. Bye, Britt.
Bye.